Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to KHM Today, your weekly resource for industry news and straight up fun. I'm your host, Carolyn Orff, and today is November 16th, 2022. You can see I've got the turkey hat going. It is one of my favorite times of year, and I've got my turkey. It's not thawing yet, thank goodness, but I am all set and ready to go. So happy to see all of you guys. Hello, Ashley in Las Vegas. And let me know that you all are here today on this fantastic Wednesday afternoon. So all month, you guys have been submitting the things that you are grateful for using our submission form on khmtoday.com. And I have to tell you that this has become my favorite part of the day. When I start to see those submissions come in, I literally stop what I'm doing. Except for this show, and I will pop on and see what you all are thankful and grateful for. And so it's been really such a fantastic month to see those submissions. So keep them coming. We'll take submissions until November 28th. And remember, on the November 30th show, we will be doing a drawing for all of those that have submitted. So hello, Melissa. Yes, thank you. This is my dollar store turkey hat. I'll take it off in a minute. But it's so fun, and I love to wear it just to really embarrass my children. But anyways, be sure to submit what you are grateful for using the keyword gratitude on the KHM Today form. And don't forget, this form is always available to you. So if you have show ideas or questions for our Ask KHM Today segment, you can fill that out, and we receive those, and we try and incorporate your ideas into the show as much as possible. So I am so excited to welcome these two faces to KHM Today. At Destination Success, during a panel discussion, the idea of the work-life balance came up. And this is something that I'm always working on. I would consider myself a work in progress because I can get hyper-focused on something and totally lose track of my surroundings. So here to share their thoughts on this idea are two very busy KHM agents, Alicia House and Ryan Tren. Welcome, you guys. I'm going to take off my hat now because it's a little distracting to even me. Hello.
Hello.
How are you both?
Great. How are you?
Good. So you two are very busy. You have associate agents. You are traveling up a storm. You are top producers. How do you feel like you do at the idea of work-life balance? Do you take time for yourself?
Well, I'll go ahead and start. No. But I have goals. I have goals that are starting in the beginning of the year. It is so important. And I was saying earlier, just in a little bit in the last 2 weeks when I haven't been traveling, I started bringing in these goals and working on these goals. And I actually stopped working at 6 o'clock at night. And I found myself watching Netflix. And I said, is this what normal people do? Yeah. So it is so important for us to make sure that we do have some work-life balance. And I would say I definitely am my own worst enemy when it comes to that. And it's something that I know that I have to do. And I have a long list of goals for 2023. And it does, the work-life balance does start January 1st.
Good for you. Alicia, how about you? Do you find time for yourself?
Kind of like you said, that's a work in progress. It was funny when Carolyn gave me the topic for this week's show. I was like, oh, I'm the worst person to talk about that. But I have learned, a few things for me personally. I think it'll probably look different for each of us, how we kind of find that balance in the things we do. But like Ryan said, working on, literally, because you can sit at your desk all day long, and before you realize, hours have went by and you've not really stopped to take a break or to do something different just to clear your head. So I do have a few things that I do to kind of help with that.
When you have associate agents and you are working like crazy, what sort of things do you say to them to make sure that they kind of have this idea in their mind that yes, business is important, but you have to set aside that time for family and for personal personal refresh? What sort of things? I mean, this is that total case of do as I say, not as I necessarily do. But do you share those strategies with your team?
I definitely. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I probably haven't shared a whole lot, but those who know me, I mean, hey, just go to Taco Bell and sit in the parking lot and eat a bean burrito. That will do wonders for you. At least it does for me. I actually have one of my agents that's listening to the show. Gina's listening today. So no, I probably could do better at kind of, giving them some tips of what I do. I know she's my Disney agent, and she's great about stopping and watching a Disney movie or something like that to clear her head. So, yeah. What about Brian? What about you?
I definitely share it, and I'm definitely one of those people who don't, do as I say, don't not as I do. Unfortunately, but it's so important, that we share that with them, because if one of the things I always say is set hours. It is crucial, because I did not. So if someone texts me at 11 o'clock at night, I responded to them at 11 o'clock at night. And then they get used to that. So they constantly do it. And they don't even realize that it's bothering you. So set those boundaries right at the get-go. And that's one of the first things that I make sure that, my agents do. And I mean, and it does work. Because otherwise, like I said, they are texting, calling all hours of the night. If it's an emergency, absolutely. That's what we're here for. But the little things like I'm going on a cruise in 2024, at midnight, it can wait till the morning.
What do you say when someone would come back to that, Ryan, and say, well, if you're in the quote phrase, right, and someone's ready to book, if you don't answer at 11 o'clock at night, they may go book it online. How do you like rationalize that with an agent? Or do you say, well, in that instance, yeah, you might want to stop what you're doing and take care of it. But come on, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, that's crazy. 6 o'clock, totally different story. But what would be your response to that if someone said, well, they're in the quote, I need to get this booking?
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to the work-life balance. And I mean, honestly, at this point where I am now, I would say, well, then they don't want to work with me. They were going to book on their own anyway. And I'm okay with saying that now. Yeah. But as a new agent, I know it's hard, but I mean, again, when you set those parameters, that has to be one of those things in there. If you're going to set the time that you're done at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, then you need to stick to it. And it's okay to turn business away. If they really want you and respect you, then they're going to wait till the morning.
Yeah. Alicia, any thought on that mindset? I completely agree with you. And I made the mistake of not doing it for so many years. And now it's like, now I do have some of those firm boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I say setting those firm boundaries are important. I'm 9 to 8. That's my hours, 8 through Friday, Saturday 9 to 5, and Sunday I'm closed. And if somebody reaches out to me on a Sunday, sometimes it's really hard because, you see the email come up on your phone and I just want to respond, but I'm like, no, it's Sunday, I'm closed. Now, sometimes I will say like, hey, we're closed on Sundays, I'll be reaching out to you tomorrow. But I think educating our clients and even our agents that work with us is helpful. But I mean, you got to do what works for you. But for me, I don't have, my kids are adults, I'm not married. So it's a little easy for me to slide into that 9 o'clock at night, booking a trip kind of thing, even though I closed at 8. But I think if you have family and you have little kids, you've got to stick to those boundaries.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you do when something's like really pressing on you and you're either frustrated by it or angry or confused and can't like figure it out in your head? What are some of the things that you do to like push through that? Do you like go run? Do you go to the grocery store? Do you go to Taco Bell? Like, what's that thing that gives you that release where all of a sudden like the brain fog clears and you're able to like go to that next step?
Tito's vodka. No, no, but that does help. I should have bought stock in that when it first came out. But I mean, honestly, I try to utilize my team. Like I have a manager and I have an assistant that I will vent to, and it's sometimes so much better to, call them up or voice message them and say, this is what I'm dealing with. Talk me down, because you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to respond right then and there, or getting someone else's opinion on it that knows what you're going through and knows the system and knows the travel. It definitely does help. So that's, besides Tito's, that's what I do.
Alicia.
For me, I think I have to have that quiet time first thing in the morning. I'm not a real morning person, so starting off my day with some quiet time, a devotion, that type thing really sets up my day. And it's during that time that I get some of my best marketing ideas and strategies. But if I've got, a situation where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I do have to step away from my desk sometimes and breathe. And for me to clear my head, even if it means stepping away and watching a 45-minute show on Netflix, something that kind of just clears my brain. But for me, if I've got a situation that I got to really think through, I've learned to not answer immediately. I've learned to kind of stop, take some time, and kind of think about it. Let those emotions settle when something comes up, and then go for it. If you're in a situation where you've made a mistake or something, sometimes you have to get over that shock and then call Karen Tyler at KHM, because she will walk you off the ledge and help you through some of that. But you kind of have to have that person that you can vent to, because we all have those clients that some days just send us over the edge.
Right. Right. Well, and I know for me, it's walking, right? When I can't get a grip on something or push through something, it's let me go out and get some fresh air. I go on what my kids call my journeys, and I leave and I walk and walk and walk. And then usually by the time I come back, I have it usually figured out. And if I don't have it figured out, at least I'm calm and can push through that. But I know one of the things that always helps me is kind of setting up my day for success. And I know, like Alicia said, you start with a devotion and coffee and kind of a slower morning, but you work until 8 o'clock at night, right? I tend to get up early, and I'll do 2 hours of my own business before I start, this role of education manager. And I find I have a whole process of what emails I look at and when I look at Facebook, and all of that helps this stay in check. And I take care of the most important things first and deal with the cruise in 2024, later. So I've really had to work over the years at strategizing how to utilize my time, because I could sit on Facebook and just scroll, or Instagram for hours. And, it's nothing new, but I can sit there and do that. And it's a terrible habit to get into, and it makes you less efficient, which means you're working later hours and you don't get that me time. So do either of you find yourself going down the black hole of either research, booking engines, or Facebook?
Totally, for sure. I've learned over the years, to do time blocking. I can't, if you're, okay, you were talking, your mouth is moving, but I couldn't hear you.
Nope, you're good. You're good.
I learned to do time blocking. Am I good? Okay. I've learned to do time blocking. So it's meaning I'm going to set the timer on my phone for 20 minutes and allow myself 20 minutes of Facebook or social media. And then when the timer goes off, I have to move on to something else. Because otherwise, you can totally get in a black hole of doing something. Same with my emails. I usually set a timer, and I've got so much time here, I'm taking care of some emails, and then I've got to move on to quotes or whatever it is. But that has helped me tremendously, because it's so easy to before you know it, an hour, 2 hours has gone by and you really haven't accomplished anything.
I love that. New agents that are listening, these are strategies you should be putting into practice. The time blocking is huge. So thanks for sharing that. Ryan, any additional thoughts on how you structure your day?
I definitely do the timer thing. I said I have timers that go off all throughout the day, just because you get so involved in email or a phone call, that you think is going to be 20 minutes, that ends up being an hour. Or, it just helps me along, because I try not to look at the clock all day long, and it kind of, that timer goes off and I'm like, oh my God, it's 3 o'clock already. And another thing that I do, that is kind of newer to me, when I'm so overwhelmed and so busy, I have a team. They're here to help me, and I wasn't the best at delegating, giving out those other like leads that come in.
Mm-hmm.
And I found myself this year, like having 10, 15, 20, and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm so behind. And just utilizing my team and structuring them and making sure that I'm using them for their best ability, and it's helping so much, and it's what's going to allow me to take my life back and actually have some time, because I'm delegating to the team that's all around me and letting them use their specialties, and going from there.
Well, and what a gift too, because I think for them, when they start to see you do that, there's that trust factor that you're saying to them, I trust you. I have complete confidence in you. I'm here if you need me, but here you go. Take the bull by the horns. This is what you're here for. So well done. So, well, you guys, thank you so much for your thoughts. I really do appreciate it. I think the lesson here is that we're a work in progress, but there are strategies that we can put in place to help us, really start and finish our day, and not work that 24 hours, which, we've said it before. This business is a lot of fun. Sometimes researching is joy. So to sit and do it at 10, 11 o'clock at night doesn't seem like work, but we do have to give our brain a rest and allow it time to reset. So thanks for your thoughts today. Everyone's commenting. Gina says hello. Kim says hello, setting goals. Sammy's on. So everyone loves you guys. So thanks so much for spending time with us today.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. All right, you guys, our next guest, on this show, we love to talk about food, and it's one of the best parts of travel, no matter where you go. So please welcome Paul Bauer, Corporate Manager for Food and Beverage Standards with Sandals and Beaches Resorts. Hi, Paul.
Good afternoon, Carolyn. Welcome, and welcome to everybody from sunny, breezy Montego Bay.
Well, we're so happy to have you here. What do you do to find work-life balance? Because there's a lot of properties in Sandals and there's a lot of food. So how do you find that work-life balance?
Well, I will tell you, there are 5 of us in the corporate team, and we are in charge of 203 restaurants and 145 bars on 9 different islands. So you can imagine that's often hard to do, but we understand, and this has always been our MO, is that it comes in fits and spurts, right? We know when we have to, have no work-life balance and work hard, and then we know when we can take the time afterwards. And so, for example, if we're doing a hotel opening, we know that 2 to 3 months of our lives are just going to be 24/7 every day until it's finished, right? And with that, you work until it's done. Then when we come back home and we have our office time, it's a little bit easier for us to take some time out and spend it with family and friends, etc. So yeah,
well, it's good to know how that's going to work, and when a hotel's going to open, so you can kind of mentally prepare yourself for that time frame where you're just not going to be available.
Yes, absolutely. And even there are times, if you're just doing a site visit to a hotel, which I have one coming up to St. Lucia, December 1st through the 10th, right? I know that those 10 days are going to be packed because I have to visit 3 resorts in those 10 days, and see what's happening. And so there's not going to be any day off, that's for sure, during that week. And that's what life is like when you're on property as well. So you just have to take it when you can get it, really. It's not a regular thing.
So with so many resorts and so many food concepts, what does your day-to-day look like? Like, you're in Montego Bay right now. What are you doing all day?
Well, all right. So today, for example, I usually get up very early. I'm like you. I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I have a natural alarm clock who is my cat. So that's fine. time to go out. I love to get things done when it's quiet in the morning. So I'll get on, and look at my emails, start preparing for the day, maybe make some menu edits that needed to be made that I didn't feel like dealing with the day before, get them over to the graphics people, prepare for something like this. I may be doing an interview, that happens a lot. Then by the time I come into the office, it's find out what else is going on, because a lot of times our corporate director will have something else that, has just come up that we need to start working on, or, I have questions. So now it's the consultation period. In between Zoom calls, of course, and we're, talking to one another, we grab time when we can. And then throughout the day, you may take a quick visit over to one of the hotels that are nearby, because we're so close to Montego Bay and Royal Caribbean, and take a look in on standards. Or, like, for example, last week, come in and the entire day is spent with my core training team, as we redevelop our training program and our training tools and initiatives for the upcoming opening at Sandals Duns River, and just for the hotels, day-to-day training in general as well. So, it's a lot of everything. In our group, I'm the consigliere, as I say. I put the polish on everything for everybody. So I may be looking over, editing some document, or putting together a presentation as well. Everything pretty much comes to me at the end, because I'm the words guy. Don't ask me to look at a spreadsheet. I can't. I just don't. Finance is not my thing. So, the great thing about our team here at the corporate office for food and beverages, we all know each other's jobs very well. But we all take a step back and let whoever it is, lead when it's their specialty and it's their time, and we're very close knit. So we're always consulting with one another on everything anyway. So, and then if I go on a property, the normal day is going to be making sure that I'm down before breakfast starts, to make sure that they're open on time, look over the standards, look through cleanliness. I'm opening cupboards, going in hallways, closets, all of that stuff, checking tabletops, checking equipment supplies, looking over their menus. I mean, it's nonstop, especially when it comes to standards, because that comes, and I have the eye for it. I'm a half German Virgo with a little bit of OCD. So, dirt doesn't spot me. I don't spot dirt. It spots me, right?
Yep. I understand. Yeah. So tell me, when you are with so many options, like, when do you determine it's time to change something up? We were laughing before the show, about like room service, but how do you know like when it's time to update a menu and offer something new?
Well, a lot of it is on guest feedback. Of course, telling us, like, for example, the comment that was made about room service, the room service menu, we know we have to update it because it has been coming up recently, right? So now it's time. It's how long has it been? It's what are the guests saying about it? Also, what are the trends? And a lot of times, for example, right now, in addition to the 2 openings that we've had this year, we have a lot of new restaurant concepts being, a lot of restaurants being redone on existing properties. And so there are some new restaurant concepts that are coming up the pike. Like, for example, we're getting some renovations at Beaches and Grill. Obviously, there's construction going on there right now, new rooms being added. So the Venetian restaurant is going to become a Peruvian restaurant, right? So that's a perfect time. It's a perfect time to change it, because now we can do something different and we can do something new, because we will have another Italian restaurant, eventually. But now, and it's all about what's trending, as well in the US and other places. I mean, there are some concepts that, quite frankly, nobody really likes anymore. And we look at, traffic, we look at numbers, how many people are really actually going into this restaurant on a nightly basis.
Right.
And if there aren't a lot of people going to it, there's got to be a good reason for it, especially in an all-inclusive environment, right? So that may be time to make a change for something.
Speaking of trends, food trucks. Food trucks are huge.
Big.
They're big. I mean, my gosh, we get them for graduation parties. They show up at school campuses for lunch hours. Yes. What was behind the addition of some of the food trucks on Sandals properties?
Well, same reason. And, we realized that there was a little bit of a gap. We do offer 24-hour food service, but a lot of times there's this gap between, say, maybe 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the evening, where there may only be one option. Right? Maybe it's a pizzeria, maybe it's a beach grill that has stayed open a little bit longer. It could be one of our jerk shacks, but in a lot of cases, it was only one option. So people want something quick service in those times, and what better to do that than a food truck, right?
Yeah.
And food trucks take up less room, so you can offer multiple options within the space of one normal restaurant would take up, right? So that's where the idea initially came from, and this year, within the next I would say 6 months, we have got 6 more food trucks going in, throughout, from Sandals White House to Sandals Halcyon in St. Lucia. So it's a very popular thing. And the great thing about Curacao was we put 3 food trucks in there. Curacao has a huge food truck culture to begin, so that was just natural for that location.
Right.
And it's been wildly popular. People absolutely love it. And the beaches hotels, we're trying to get more into the beaches hotels now, because the 2 that we have at Beaches, Turks and Caicos, Mr. Mac's gourmet mac and cheese and the Curls and Swirls ice cream and milkshakes, those are so popular you can barely keep up with demand. You really need one in each village there, at least.
Well, because no kid wants to get dressed and go into a restaurant. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
And this is joy, right, for them, and it's joy for a parent as well, to send the kid up and get something and not get a bill.
Quick and easy. I mean,
yes, it's quick, it's easy, they're fulfilled. It's that's what I love about the all-inclusive concept, is it's very freeing as a parent to not have to say no to something during a vacation.
Sure.
And that's not to say my kids run wild. It's just to be able to say, yes, go get that smoothie. Yes, go get that ice cream cone. It's 1 week.
Although I have to say, I don't know how parents handle it when the kids are going to yo-yos and getting frozen yogurt topped with a bunch of candy at 10 o'clock at night. I'm not sure how that works.
I'm not sure either. Mine are too old for that. So tell me, besides food trucks making their way to many of the properties, what other concepts can we look forward to in the near future?
In the near future, well, right now there's construction going on at Sandals Negril on what used to be the Beach Bistro. That is going to become a taco restaurant throughout the day, right? So it takes the place.
Everyone loves a taco.
Of course, tacos and other things as well, but the main focus is tacos, right? Because it is at the end of the day the lunch beach restaurant. We will have tapas coming at Sandals Negril as well, so we'll have a real Spanish tapas and not a truck, but that will replace the current Italian restaurant Cucina Romana. And something else will come up the pike for the Italian. And when we open Sandals Duns River, the newest one there will be Greek. But what we've added, in case anybody's missed anything recently, when we opened Curacao, we added our first Latin fusion restaurant, Zucca, which is fantastic, Central and South America and Caribbean, and also Vincent, which is the and really excellent. Oh, and I can't forget Canal Cafe, which is our first wine and cheese bar combined with a cafe with sweets and pastries and various coffee things. And we'll have a new coffee concept, the Coffee Cafe Reimagined, coming up at Sandals Duns River as well. So yeah,
do you have an absolute favorite?
Oh, Bombay Club. The Indian restaurants really are my absolute favorite. And I have to say the one at Sandals Grand St. Lucian really, I think, is my favorite. Just it's the feel, it's the look, it's the atmosphere, everything together. Yeah. And, we have excellent Indian chefs that we've enticed, probably is the best word to use, from other places. And so the food is just beyond compare. And it's something that you don't get all the time.
Well, and this has become very popular. I've noticed this at many properties where Indian food is like, it's the new Italian, right?
Yeah.
It's on every property, and it's no longer considered kind of, a one-off or unique. It's kind of the norm now to have that sort of cuisine on property, it's fantastic. And it's always really yummy. It's probably the only place I will eat Indian food, because I don't care for the restaurants that are near me. So that's always my favorite. You talked a little bit about quality control. That's got to be hard with so many restaurants.
It is. It is.
What does that look like? Do you have a team of people, or is everyone in charge of quality control when they're working in one of the restaurants?
Well, really, everybody should be in charge of quality control when they're working in the restaurants, no question about it. How we keep track of it, aside from our, occasional visits, or I should say even regular visits to hotels, depending on which hotel it is, we have a team there. We watch the guest comments very, very closely. And I think you probably already know we have a whole new department, the guest experience department within Sandals, that is, or division, I should actually say, that is taking care of, and watching very closely what guests want and whether they're getting it or not. So they're a very big help to us as well. That's an extra set of eyes. But in every resort, I have certain resort trainers as well that are responsible for training standards. I've trained them. They're a part of the core team. And so, we rely very heavily on them as well. And of course, ultimately comes up to each individual restaurant manager to maintain their standards and to maintain quality. And that's together with their bar, their bartenders, their bar team, and also the kitchen team, right? Kitchen stewarding, it all has to work together. And so that's one of the biggest things we encourage is, you are one team in this restaurant, and it's going to take all of you to make sure that this stays the way it's supposed to be.
So you mentioned your bar team. Before I let you go, I got to ask you, this is the most important question to my husband. No matter where we go, it's who decides the drink of the day? And if I was to stay for 2 weeks, would it be the same drink of the day every Monday, or do you really switch it up?
Usually that's how they do it. I mean, it's a daily rotation. We do change it occasionally, but it's a combination. It's a combination of, guest most requested cocktails, signature cocktails that the bartenders themselves have come up with, which we like to highlight because we encourage them to be creative and make new things. And also, there are selections that have been made by our, corporate manager of bar and beverage operations. He's got a lengthy title like mine. Right? So, it really is a combination. And I think what wins out often, the most often, is what's most popular with the guests. Right. And so we tend to repeat those favorites. Yes. And they do repeat, say every Monday for a while, but then we change them up. Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us today as we enter into what I like to call the food season.
Yes.
It starts next Wednesday, not Thursday, because all that prep is considered the food season as well.
I'm doing mine tomorrow, as a matter of fact, because next week we're going to be running around the country here, doing it's our job fairs for Sandals Dunn's River. So next Thursday I will be indisposed. So as soon as I get finished here, I'm going home to start my stuffing prep and finish up what I need to do for tomorrow. So
that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Paul. It's been wonderful to learn more about what you do and how it all works. I find all of this so fascinating because it's kind of a behind the scenes look at how this all runs when you've got so many properties and so many restaurants, and it's done so well. So thank you.
Thank you. And anytime you want a guest from Sandals, I'm yours. Right. I love doing this kind of thing. I love to get the word out.
Awesome. Have a happy Thanksgiving and good luck with your turkey.
Thanks. You too.
You guys, we had planned on having a third guest today, but she's had some technical difficulties. So we will make sure that we get her rescheduled as soon as possible. But thank you all for joining us today. It was fantastic to have Ryan and Alicia and Paul on. We have so much to learn from each other. Thank you to our show sponsors. And especially Apple Leisure Group, our overall show sponsor. Next week, we will be celebrating Thanksgiving with our families. So we will not have a live episode, but we do have a really fun video that will be released next Wednesday at 3 p.m. on our YouTube channel. But I'm telling you guys, November 30th is going to knock your socks off. We have Ann Chamberlain from Scenic Cruises and Jason Flesher, who is the Discovery Team lead, that they're going to come on and talk about all of the fun things on the Eclipse, and which is their expedition, new expedition cruise ship. And it's just fascinating how it all works. And we're going to talk about the Discovery team and what they do and how they roll. And it's really going to be fascinating. So be sure to join us. We will also have our winner. We'll draw our winner for our month of gratitude. And we have a very special, exciting KHM announcement for you as well. So be sure to tune in. You guys, happy Thanksgiving, happy selling on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and we'll see you back here live November 30th. Take care, everyone.